Hi. So we're working on Webquests and Google Forms, and I'm gonna try to make one live with you so you can follow along. If you already know parts of this, feel free to skip ahead. If you want to pause the video and have this video side by side as you try and go along with me, that's usually how I learn best. Um, then pause the video so you can do that from time to time, and use the dual screen or dual lists or however you get your things side by side. Okay, so the first thing I usually do is figure out what I want my WebQuest or QuickQuest to be about, and then I kind of plan things. Sometimes I do it on paper. Having in Google Docs is kind of nice because everything's in one place. Okay, so I have everything sort of set out. I have my links that I'm going to use already there. It'll save me some time once I get started. And yeah, let's go ahead. So you want to go to your Google Drive. You want to go to New and Form. Okay, so one of the first things I like to do, we'll give it a title. You can title it here, title it there, however. Let's see. Let's give it a nicer title. Okay. So with WebQuest, I usually find, or digital learning in general, you want to make it as accessible, kind of cutesy, creative, whatever can kind of grab the kids' attention. Okay, next I'm going to sort of jazz out the layout. You want to go up to here. There's a little palette, paintbrush palette there. Click on it. And they have images for you to choose from. And if you can find one that really fits, great, but they're pretty generic. So I tend to take a screenshot of one I get from Google Images. So I did that. So that means I'm going to upload. So I've already taken a screenshot or snippet of a Google image I wanted, and there it is. Again, I think the more specific you can make it, the more tailored and curated it is, the nicer the experience is for the students. Okay, click here. Good. Okay, so I'm okay with that. Make it a little darker, maybe. And I like making the background darker because I think it makes the questions pop a little bit. You can play around. There's not a lot of font choices, which is probably good. I think I'm going to leave it at basic. Well, maybe I'll try formal for this since it's a quest. There we go. That kind of looks nice. Okay, so when you're all done that, you want to click out of that. That's your theme options. The next thing before you get started is you want to do your settings. Okay, so settings. Okay, I like collecting email addresses. You can limit the response to one eventually. When I'm planning, I don't, because that way I can only try it out once. And I probably want to try this out a few times so I can like debug and go through it. So I'm going to leave this not clicked for now. And then if you only want the kids to try it once, you'll click that one before you assign it. You definitely want to be able to edit after submit because sometimes kids can't finish everything in one shot. Let's go to presentation. I like showing the progress bar, but that's up to you. You definitely want show link to submit another response if you're going to allow them to do that. I don't shuffle question order for my WebQuest because I usually have them be fairly linear and grow. But if you're doing like just a regular quiz or something and you don't want to cut down on cheating, then you would do that. And speaking of quizzes, let's go to that tab because I do want this to be a graded assignment and I don't want to grade it. Right? I want this to be they get the feedback faster. And I just want to look at the data so I can plan, where I'm going with this and how they're doing. And it's up to you whether you want them to be able to see the correct answers, point values, and all that. Okay, so everything here is set for me, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go back to my planner and my backstory. It's nice to have a little backstory just to get them started. Maybe they're on a space mission. Maybe they're sent back in time if it's history. Maybe they were sucked into the novel and they're, whatever it is that you're studying, you can make it kind of a little more interesting. So I'm going to add that here, but you can add your backstory anywhere. I also like having it feel like a little bit more alive. So I'm going to add a GIF or GIF. I still don't know how to say that correctly. And I've already uploaded, found some. Now, things with GIFs or GIFs, if I have, I have the extension. Okay. And I could search here. I still can't drag it directly. If you drag directly from here or a website, it will be static. It will stop being an animation. It will stop being a GIF. Okay? So you do have to download it to your computer and upload it. And I've searched forums. We don't seem to know why that is the case, but trust me, it's an extra step, but that's how you get it to work. So don't let that stop you from using GIFs or GIFs, because they really do, I think, add to the quality of your piece, of your work. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna add, let's see if I have a question already there. Yes, I'm gonna move this. I'll leave it here. You can have it, you can have the start the quest here, your name here, but you definitely want to get their name. I like last name, first name. And if you wanna make it as part of your thing, like Sir blah blah blah, or I don't know what the female equivalent would be. Dame, Duchess, I don't know. But you can do that. I did one on like magicians and magic, and it was like the great blah blah blah. You put your name in. It's up to you how involved you want to make your backstory. Okay, so this is my beginning of the quest, and now I'm going to start my sections. So I'm going to add a section, and go back to my planner, and I'm going to start off with, okay, what is Webquest? I'm going to back up a second. Okay, so. Okay. Also, if you wanted to, you can let them know what the task, if you're going to have a task, you can let them know what that's going to be in this initial setting. So I think I'm actually going to add that in here. Your task will be to, ultimately, because we're not going to get to it right away, be to make your own web quest. Okay, so you can give them a preview of the task that's going to be expected if you're going to have a task that goes beyond. Okay, so what is a web quest? And I have a video. Now you need to use basically YouTube videos. It does say that you can use other ones. I've never gotten them to work. So I kind of just put everything on YouTube and leave it at that. So I'm going to add a video. I do like having a variety of media there for them to use. So it's not all article, video. It's not all videos, not articles. Kind of mix it up. And that way also, if you're giving, if you're going to do a Jigsaw version of this, you can tailor which sections you give to which students. Maybe they're more visual learners, or they need more practice on literacies, and you can kind of tailor it that way. But we'll get to differentiation near the end. Okay, so watch the video. And then I can ask a simple question. Okay, a Webquest. And one thing about question choices, typically I stay with multiple choice, checkbox, drop down. Those are my 3 go-tos. You don't want a lot of short answer or paragraphs, because then it's not going to be self-graded. Then it's not going to be, especially at the beginning, right? Maybe near the end you want more of that, so you're getting towards higher level thinking and more skills. But at the beginning, I tend to keep things fairly simple. Okay, so digitally curated. Task. And whatever else you like, IDK, whatever else, and I'll clean that up later. Okay, now, in order for this to be self-graded, you need to do the answer key. Boom. And make it with 1 point. Done. Make it required. And you can shuffle the option order, right? So that it does cut down on that copying and cheating, that their friends can send them the answer. Okay. Now, often, if I'm going to do a series of multiple choice questions, I don't want to have to do all those steps again. So I'm just going to duplicate that. And move this over some. There we go. And I could put in whatever it is. Webquest examples. And I can do checkboxes. That way they can do more than one. So we choose 3. And then you can change the answer. You want to make the answer up here. But at least you're not doing required and the shuffling and all that every single time. Okay, so whatever it is, who knows? I don't know. Choice 1. 1, 2, 3. And obviously these will be real answers later. 4 and 5. And then for this one, for checkboxes, so you do have to fix your answer key. I'm going to make those first 3. And you can have more than 3, right? So the nice thing about checkboxes, if you're doing multiple answers, like which of the following are consonants? Which of the following are metals? Which of the following are causes of World War II? Which of the following are examples of onomatopoeia? And I like telling them how many to choose. Why frustrate them? All right. And you're just trying to make sure they understand the content. If they don't get, if they do 2 out of 3, they get it wrong and they get frustrated because they were right partially. So this is a little piece about checkboxes. If you're going to choose more than 1, tell them how many. Okay. So I'm going to go on to my next section. And it's going to be about why. And I have an article. Okay, so yes. And I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to add an article. And I have the link here. So I'm just going to open it up and grab the text I want. I guess you could just put the link in there, but why make them have to open it? I really don't. I just usually copy the text for them. It's especially if they have slow bandwidth. Why frustrate them more than they're already probably frustrated? And so I'm just going to copy and paste the pieces of text I want and plop it right in here. And again, the text thing was here. That's how I got this. I'm going to put that here. And I can take the title and just move it up. And I'm not always good about this, but I'm going to cite my source. Sometimes I try to be good at modeling good practices like that. I'm not always great about doing that. I used EasyBib. You can use Citation Machine. There's a bunch of them out there. So I go through and make sure I get rid of anything that didn't copy over so well. Okay, let's see if I can move this down some more. There we go. And I'm going to add the citation here at the bottom. Okay, and then again, I'm going to make questions. All right, so, when to use. You can make it a drop down, multiple choice, whatever you like. I did forget to, I probably should have just duplicated that and brought it down. Sometimes when I make new sections, I forget to do that. Okay, so when to use, the beginning, And since I didn't duplicate it, I do have to go into the answer key. Nope. And 1 point, done, required. So again, when I don't duplicate, I do have to do a few extra clicks. Okay, going on to next section. Okay, so here I have an infographic I'm gonna put in. Let's see if it's already there. Nope, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna use a picture this time. All about Webquests. I'm gonna add an image. I like adding graphics or charts, tables. Again, try to give a variety of different media. And I've already taken a picture. A lot of times I'll find it on online and I'll just screenshot it or snip it. This one I ended up making it in drawings and then taking a picture of it since I couldn't find the one I wanted. Use this infographic to answer the questions. Okay, and again, I can go ahead and add in more questions, blah, blah, blah. Okay. For time's sake, let's see. I'll show you one more type of question, so I'll add one more question to this. So if I do want to do vocabulary and matching, I want to do multiple choice grid. Multiple choice grid is a workaround for matching. Match the terms. Okay, so I can put the term here, request, task, and then whatever my definitions are would go here. Digitally curated assignment, task, assessment piece, and the process. Curated research materials and Q and A. Oh, real. Okay. Again, you have to do your answer key. So this one I couldn't have copied anyway because I didn't use this kind before. And I click, click, click. I add my point values. Done. You definitely want to require a response for each row. And this is pretty important for this one. You have to shuffle. Otherwise, the answers are in order. So, and I want to limit one response because there's only one definition for each term. If you wanted to do multiple, then you would use the checkbox grid, and that's a different kind of questioning technique. That doesn't come up often. Okay, back to my planner. Again, I can add more questions. Next, it's going to be an experience explorer. So I'm going to add a new section. And I'm going to add a link. Go back to my planner. So this is going to, in this case, it's interactive. So you have to put a link in, right? So in this case, there's no way to copy and paste an experience. That you want them to interact or with the simulation in some way. Or in this case, it's another form. Okay, so go to this link and try it out. Now, here in teacher mode or edit mode, it's not going to show up as a live link. It will when you share it for the students. This will be a clickable link. Okay, and I can add a question. Since I'm nearing the end, I might want to do a short response here and have them reflect. Reflect on your experience. Give one positive and one negative piece of feedback, something like that. and you want it required, otherwise they'll skip it. Now, will they still sometimes put IDK? Yeah. Yeah, they will. And hopefully you can just talk them about that individually and give comments or feedback individually on that. On these, I tend not to have an answer key or any point values. This is just something I'm going to read later. And it's not going to be part of their score per se. But again, it's because it's a reflection, but it's up to you how you want to do that. Okay. If you did want to have something very specific that you were targeting on, I can show you how to do that here. So let's add another short answer, but this time the short answer is going to be, you're looking for a very specific term, right? Okay. What is a digitally, and normally you would not make it this obvious, curated task. Here, like that. Okay, so here I'm looking for something very specific. So I am going to require it. And next, I'm going to response validation. So this will grade it for you, but again, they're going to have to give a very specific response. So you have to make that kind of obvious for them. So here it's going to be Webquest. And if they get it wrong, you want to tell them they got it wrong. Try again. Yeah, I like giving them clues. This is what 8-letter word, lowercase, no spaces. And I might even want to have told them that at the beginning. So I might even add that to the question. Nope. At least that part. Let's say copy. You might want to tell them that ahead of time so they don't have to get it wrong first and have that frustration. So again, if you're looking for that, and then you can make your answer key. 1 point. Done. Now let me put the answer in there. Now with the response validation, it will not let them move forward until they get it right. So I will tell you about that. That's sort of a sticking point. We use these a lot in escape rooms because that way they literally can't move forward until they get it right. Okay, keep going. And next I'm going to do a little engaging feedback. Let's see, do a final GIF. So I'm going to add a new section. You are done. And I can add another GIF in. Let's see. Let's try this one. Let's see if that's the right one or not. Wonderful work, whatever else you want to add. And you can make these larger. If I click on it again, I can also center it. Centering sometimes makes it nice. Okay, so however you want to end it there. And then also I like adding sort of where a student's at. Or how do you feel about this? Or whatever your topic is, right? How do you feel about algebraic expressions? How do you feel about literary terms? How do you feel about whatever it is you're studying? And you want to make this linear scale. So again, a variety of questions. One, lost, help. Let's move on. Okay, so, and again, you want that to be required. Okay, so that's just the basics of the Webquest. A lot of times I will often, let's see if I can find one here. Yeah. Add GIFs in as they go along, just so they get feedback as they go along. So let's do that. I can go back. This only has one question, and I can add in here. I'm going to add another section now, just to make this so they get it right. Yes, or correct, or however you want to do it. And I can add a GIF in. That'll tell them they're correct. So they get a little feedback. If you've used quizzes, it does that very nicely. And I'll try this one. Let's see. I think that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. And I can add, so I'm going to add if I get it wrong, a different section. And you can copy these over and over. Try again. Okay, and add GIF to go with that, or meme. And you know your kids, you know what you can put in. Come on. There we go. Let's see if that worked. My computer's being a little glitchy. Okay, so how do I send them there? So if you want to add these GIFs in to give them that feedback as you go along, as long as I put it in the middle, you don't have to put it after every section. To do that, to send them to those GIFs or memes, go to section based on answer. So this is where if they get it right or wrong, they're going to get feedback. So I'm going to click on that. And they're going to go. So if they get it right, they're going to go to where it says correct. And if they get it wrong, they're going to go to try again. Okay. Now, another piece of this. So if they get it correct, I want them to keep going. I want them to skip over the getting it the try again piece. They go right to section 6. And if they get it wrong, maybe you want to send them back, right? Maybe you want to send them back to that section and they have to try it again. So that's how you can sort of embed that sort of positive feedback loop throughout. And you can, again, if you wanted to keep doing this after every question, then you would just, right, yeah, you can copy a whole section or duplicate a section. So you can duplicate the whole section and put it after each question. But then you would have to change some of the go to next settings so they can move forward eventually. Okay, I like putting something like that in the middle, just keeps them going. And it feels like it's more of a live interaction they're having than something very static. Okay, so all of this is done. And this is pretty linear. Again, I would add a lot more to this as far as questions go. Okay, but what if you want to make this like a jigsaw? What if you're going to use this so that it's going to be part of group work? Okay. Or actually, let's do differentiation first. So what if I'm going to have a differentiation in here? Okay, so I can add that in as a section 2. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Make this a little larger. There we go. Okay, so let's say they try this piece here. Okay, so let's say that they don't do well here. So one way of differentiating is if they get it wrong, they have to try it again, right? So you're sending them back for another try. Another way to differentiate is you can have them, if they are getting things incorrect, you can have them, instead of just going back and trying again, have them go to a section where you have another video or another tutorial. So let's say you want that. So I'll do that for this question. And let's see. This one might be tricky to do it on. Let's try here. Or you could even do it as a reflection question. So let's try that piece. You have them self-reflect. Do you need um, more time, or no, not more time, more practice? And you could put in yes, no, required. And then again, you can do that go to section based on answer. Notice I'm not having an answer key or 0 points for this because it's not, it's just there to help them go onward. So you can have them self-reflect. And do you need more practice? Yes. And then no, I can go on to the next section. So I want to create a section, more practice. And you could, let's say it's math, you put a lot more practice problems in that section. So I can go back to here. Do you need more practice? Yes. They're going to go on to more practice. And no, then they're going to skip the more practice and go right to the explore, explain. So that's, you can have them self-navigate. And again, yeah, you could add your questions in here for more practice and have another tutorial. That's something that really breaks it down even further. And notice when they're done that, they'll go on. And you can put several pieces of feedback loops like that in a Webquest. Okay, let's see. And you could also have done something where if they get it wrong, it takes them there as well. So that's one way to sort of add that differentiation in different levels. Okay, now let's get to the Jigsaw piece. So I have all my sections done. I've added some feedback. I've added some differentiation. Again, I'd have some questions here in this section. So what if I want this to be more of a jigsaw though? Okay, so at the beginning, if you want it to be a choose your own adventure or a jigsaw, in the very first section, you're going to add a question after their name. And maybe you're assigning them roles. Which role were you assigned? Maybe their role is to do the what web quests. Maybe it's the why. Maybe it's the when, right? So maybe those are those sections. So if you're doing a jigsaw, you're going to add this question at the beginning, make it required, and whatever they pick, they're going to go only to that section. Because in a jigsaw, you're limiting their access to information so that when they go to their group, they're each the expert and they need the other people to communicate. Right? So it forces that communication. So go to section based on answer is going to be important here. And if they click on this, they're going to go to what? If they click on this one, why, and then the when or whatever, the all about web quests. Right? And whatever your roles are. And again, your roles are going to be tied to sections. So it's not maybe your traditional role of recorder or, team leader. We're not thinking about that. We're thinking about sections of pieces of information. Maybe it's the World War II. Somebody's doing the geography of it. Somebody's doing the causes of it. Somebody's doing like main battles. I don't know. For in the math, maybe you have different kinds of questions or levels of questions that you want. Trying to think in science, metals, non-metals, metalloids, right? Things like that. Okay. So these would send them to those sections, and then you have to do one step further. If you're doing a jigsaw, you don't want them to see all of it. So if they're doing what is a web quest, you don't want them to continue on. You want them to go to maybe you are done, right? Maybe they only do part of it. Or maybe you want them all to have something in common and you want them to all have that interactive. So you would jump over all the rest and they would go right to there. Right? And the person that did Y web quest, they're not going to continue on. They're going to, well, actually for this one, I had the feedback loop in there. So it would be after this. they get it correct, they're not going to go to All About Webquest. They're going to go to that experience. The try again is going to send them back anyway, so we're going to leave that alone. All About Webquests. Again, that's going to jump over to here. Okay, so they're going to be able to choose, right? And maybe you let them choose in their roles, but everybody has to have a section. So that's why I kind of like assigning them. And it's going to help them jump to their specific piece that they're going to study and become an expert on. And then they're also going to have this one common piece that they all explored together. Or sometimes maybe you'll have a common piece at the beginning. Maybe that an article or a video at the beginning. I like having a common piece somewhere. So yes, they all are experts on their little section, but they also have a commonality experience too to talk about in their groups. Okay, so let's take a look at this from the student's point of view. If you're doing a jigsaw, again, they're going to put their name in. And I think, again, spending a few minutes on just to make and personalize it and really connect pictures and the color and add a GIF, I think it's definitely worth it. Let's say you were assigned what next? So they're just going to watch the video. And the nice thing about a jigsaw is you know your students and you can assign them. Maybe you're going to try to challenge them this week and you're going to assign them something out of their comfort zone, like reading an article. Or maybe, you know, they're having a tough week or that the video is going to challenge them. You can give them something to challenge them or something that will make them more comfortable depending on what you want to do that week. Okay, so click. Okay, let's say I get it wrong. Okay, next. So it sent me ahead. It's grading my work. And notice I jumped over all the other pieces to the Experience Explorer. And notice that the link is live now. So I can click on it. It'll open in a new tab for them, which is nice. Okay. So I'm going to go back. That'll open. They'll experience their simulation or the animation or whatever it is that they're doing. And they're going to fill out their thing, IDK. They're going to answer their question. And they get to their celebration piece and their overall reflection piece. How you doing? Okay. And of course, they have to submit. Okay. If you want them to be able to edit their response, they can click here. And then they go back and edit it if they weren't sure. So it gives them that chance to do that. Notice it does send them all the way back to the beginning and they got to click through. It did save their answers. Notice the videos, when you're in student mode, they are live. Right? You just click on them and they play. I also do like putting the link in there as well. I didn't this time. Again, that's one thing I'll clean up. Just in case this doesn't work for some reason. I've had that up with a few videos, even YouTube videos. So sometimes I like having that backup of putting the link as well as embedding the video itself. Okay, and things keep going through. Okay, so this is what it looks like in student view and in teacher view. Again, notice in teacher view, the video was static. Now, the GIFs will not be. If you see your GIF being like a picture, that means you need to re-download and upload it, because that will not change. Whatever pictures, whatever you see is what you get in the student view. Whereas for some reason, videos are static until you're in that preview or student mode. Okay. So that gives you an idea. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and you guys are going to try this in class. And I hope that gives you a good start at least. Okay, that's all for now.